My name is Mr. Sharpless, and this is one of my students, Brenda Durker, and we're here today to talk to you about agriculture careers, also kind of our educational journey. This is my third time this school year speaking at McLaughlin Middle School, McLaughlin Academy of Excellence. I forgot we changed our name. Yes, I was part of that vote. I'm also your school board member, just so you know. So I'm excited today to come here. Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm also super excited to bring my student along with me because it's not something I get to do very often when I get to speak. So she hears me teach at the college level, but she's never heard me teach middle and high school students. I am a professor at Warner University. I've been teaching there since 2015, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about my educational journey and how I got there. The first thing you need to know in my educational journey is I'm born and raised right here in Lake Wales. Graduated from Lake Wales High School in 2002. I actually went to Hillcrest Elementary. And then I came to McLaughlin as a student. I was here in the mid-90s, so before y'all were born. I was a student right here at this school. From there, I went to Lake Wales High School. I graduated in the class of 2002. The point I'm trying to say is, a kid from Lake Wales, middle class, maybe even considered lower middle class, now a college professor. Okay, so I sat in the same seats you guys are sitting in. So if I can do it, you guys can do it too. You guys can be successful in your careers. I went to the University of Florida, go Gators. That's where I went straight out of high school, and I was there for 5 years. I left with a master's degree, so I didn't take a bachelor's degree in 5 years, but I left with a master's degree. While I was up there, I got a call from one of my mentors here in Polk County. He said, "I want you to come back and teach here." Okay. Come back and taught here for a little bit. Then, while I was teaching high school, I got a call from my academic advisor who was my academic advisor at the University of Florida. And she said, "Justin, I've been keeping tabs on you." And at first, it kind of scared me a little bit. When someone says they've been keeping tabs on you, doesn't that kind of like freak you out a little bit at first? And I said, "Okay." And she said, "I've been keeping tabs on you, and I believe that you're a great teacher. I want you to think about teaching teachers, future teachers." Okay, I said, okay. So she offered me a scholarship. I went up to the University of Missouri, which is this middle one right here, got a master's degree, and now I'm working on my PhD. I'll become Dr. Sharpless one day, okay? Finish that up online. So the point, what I'm trying to make with that is, do a good job of what you're doing, because you never know where that's going to take you, okay? In your classes, talk to your teacher. Make a connection. You never know where that connection is going to lead you. If I wasn't a good student at the University of Florida, I never would have got a scholarship offer to go to the University of Missouri. But it's because of the hard work I did, the relationship I developed with my academic advisor, that helped me to get that scholarship. Wherever your path goes, make sure that you're staying connected with people. You do a good job of what you're doing, okay? Because you never know where that's going to lead you. Where have I taught? While I was a student at the University of Florida, I taught athletes. I tutored them, helped them stay eligible. Cam Newton, quarterback, NFL quarterback, okay, I tutored him. Joe Hayden, former cornerback, defensive back, played for the Steelers, Browns, tutored him. Maurice Spates, a setter in basketball. I mean, I go through the list here, right? People that went to the pros, I tutored at the University of Florida. Of course, at that time, the University of Florida, we had players like Tim Tebow, Brandon Spikes. We had some great players at that time. I basically got my master's degree paid for because I tutored athletes. Okay, so that's one thing. Then I went to Fort Meade High School and I graduated my master's from Florida. You guys know where Fort Meade is? Some of y'all, okay, some of y'all know where Fort Meade is. It's south of Bartow. You know where Bartow is? I taught there for a couple years. That was during the recession, 2010-ish, 2009, 10. And they went from having 2 teachers, I taught agriculture, 2 teachers in that program, to 1 teacher because they had budget cuts. At the same time, McLaughlin reached out to me and said, "Hey, we want you to come over here and teach." So I came over here and taught, right? It was great for me. I was coming home, right? That's where I went to school. I left McLaughlin and went to Lake Wales High School. I went up with the 8th graders. So I taught them in 8th grade and I taught them in 9th grade too. Okay, I went to Lake Wales, I taught there. And that's whenever I was recruited to go to the University of Missouri. And then when I was done at the University of Missouri, I actually taught college classes at the University of Missouri while I was there. Warner University reached out to me because my grandpa was in the first graduating class at Warner University in 1972. There was like 4 of them, literally. The administration knew who I was. They recruited me back to Warner, and that's where I've been since 2015. From all my experience, I want to share with you about agriculture, and specifically careers in agriculture. How many of you truly know what careers are available in agriculture? Probably not a whole lot. That's what I'm here to talk about. My students here talk about her career path. There's agriculture education. That's the career pathway I took to teach about agriculture. If you're interested in helping shape the future of the ag industry, this would be something for you. In fact, educators and your teachers are the foundation for all careers, right? If you don't have teachers teaching you, no one's going to be able to go get a career eventually, right? They teach you basic reading, basic math, right? Well, agriculture teachers teach you the basics of agriculture before you go off and get your career, okay? So make sure to thank your teachers on the side, as a side note, for what they do for you every day. And agriculture educators prepare students to be successful in their professions, like I said, and offer a lifetime of informed choices. So, if you ever decide you may want to take an agriculture class, Mrs. Bruns will be able to talk to you about the different areas, and they can really go more in depth. So, what are some examples in the agriculture education systems area that you could get a career in? One, middle school or high school agriculture teacher, like I did. You can also be an extension agent. Have you ever heard of the word extension when it comes to a job? The University of Florida, okay, every called land grant institution, so every state has one, has an extension office. Ours is in Bartow. If you ever read an academic paper that's written by a professor, it's hard for the general public to understand that. It's all scientific language, okay? Extension agents basically take all the academic research and put it in a way that can help the everyday person, okay? A farmer, a rancher, a student, they run 4-H programs. So extension's through the college, but it's not with necessarily academic people, it's with more your everyday person. Or an agriculture college professor like I am. Agribusiness systems. Are you a leader? Something to ask yourself. Do you enjoy coordinating people and activities and make sure everything runs smoothly? Well, if that's the case, agribusiness might be for you. Basically, it's a way to connect the business world with agriculture to determine how to make a profit. Because I teach in my agriculture business class, you can be the best farmer or rancher, but if you're not making money, you're not going to be in it for long. So you can be doing whatever kind of business you decide to do one day. If you're not making money at it, you're not going to be in it for long because you got to pay the bills, right? So agribusiness people help make sure the agricultural business makes a profit. So what are some areas? A lot of different areas. So I've had students intern at the college level with chemical companies. Helena, Syngenta, they're different companies, and they basically help farmers to know when to apply certain fertilizers, pesticides, and agricultural chemicals, okay? There's salespeople for that. You can be a human resource manager at agriculture operations. I mean, that's something where you're hiring people. Marketing. Every ag company is in competition with another ag company. You can be the best farmer or rancher, but if you can't sell your product, right, you can't market it well, you're not going to be in business long. How many of you ever heard of the term fresh from Florida? It's a little seal. You go to Publix, you go to Winn-Dixie, you go to any of your grocery stores, Walmart, and you go through the produce department, you're probably going to see a little sticker on some of the packages. And the sticker will say, fresh from Florida. That was a big marketing plan from our Department of Agriculture to say, hey, this product was grown and sold here in Florida. Because most people want to know, hey, I'm eating produce, I'm eating lettuce or watermelon or whatever, peach. I want to know it's come from my state. I don't want it to have to travel long distances to get to me, right? You want it to be fresh. So the idea of fresh from Florida came around. That all came from marketing. I'll also tell you, organics, things like that. You hear organic produce, a lot of that's marketing as well. You wouldn't know if you put 2 carrots next to each other, one's organic, one's not organic. You're not going to be able to tell the difference between the two unless they do a good job of marketing, right? So advertisements. You guys see advertisements all the time. Tell me you've heard this jingle before. Da-da-da-da-da. I'm loving it. What is that? What is that? McDonald's. Everyone's heard that, right? Nike's is just do it. Exactly. You guys are constantly being marketed to. Okay? Well, we need that in agriculture too. And an ag broadcaster. We have a whole publication here in Polk County called Central Florida Ag News. They write articles and specifically all about agriculture. Ag technology. You like to tinker around with stuff, right? You're a tech person. Your generation is much more tech than my generation was, and my generation was much more tech than the generation before me, and go on and on and on. Apps that are specific to agriculture. So if you want to become an app developer one day, you could work in agriculture. That's crazy to me. But you need to learn the basics here at school and then be able to develop that out. Because if you don't know anything about agriculture, the apps you make may not be worthwhile, and no one's going to buy them, right? Or download them, or do whatever. There's a lot of different educational requirements with this, so I can't specifically say, oh, you need to go to school to get this, this, and this degree. It depends on what you want to do, because it's a pretty wide variety of things. I do know I've placed interns and students of mine at the college level with companies that are flying drones, okay? They're mapping crops to see, they can do an infrared picture over a crop field, and they can see, oh, this area is not getting enough irrigation, enough water during the day. Because it's where it would take you hours upon hours to walk the field and see all that. I can take a drone now, fly it over, or even shoot. Now they're flying planes over large crop areas, and they're taking infrared pictures, and they're able to tell you there's a disease in this certain area of your crop field. Okay? So what they'll do is these companies, technology companies, they can create software that you can download and you can see that. And you can actually turn certain pumps on to irrigate certain areas. So a few of those different areas, we have aerial applicators or pilots that fly planes and do applications of different chemicals. We have engineers, people that are tinkering around with fertilizer systems, irrigation systems, and we even, like I said, app developer. Animal systems, this is one that's always really popular. People love to take agriculture classes to play with the animals, right? We love animals. That's not all agriculture, but I know my student's going to talk to you about her passions with animals here in a minute. But if you care about animals, there's different things that that you can do, right? You can start learning some of those basics here in middle and high school, and you can take it further. So what are some examples of some things you can do? Well, there's livestock breeders. You can go out there and you can work with a ranch and actually take care of the animals. You can be a farrier. So a farrier actually, horses, when they walk, right, they have, we call horseshoes. You've seen a horseshoe, right? You ever played horseshoes? Mm-hmm. Right? They put that on the bottom of the horse's hooves so it doesn't hurt their hooves and they can walk. Okay? A farrier actually learns how to take those shoes off, cleans the hooves of the horse. It's very important. Horses walk so much, right? We use them so much that their feet's really important. You know this, any of your athletes. You get a foot injury, you're pretty much done until that heals, right? Mm-hmm. Well, think about a horse is an athlete. When it's racing, when it's walking, when it's pulling, whatever, it has to have good feet, so that's why we have farriers. Animal nutritionists. Just like you have human nutritionists tells you, okay, and then you go to the doctor and say, hey, Mr. Sharples, you need to lose some pounds, so we're going to work on your nutrition plan. Well, we have nutritionists in agriculture too. They help, all right, how are we going to put on so much weight on these animals because eventually we're going to eat them, right? So we have to determine what's going to keep them healthy, safe, and safety. Artificial insemination technician. This is an interesting one. So you guys pretty much know the birds and the bees, right? So basically, in the industry, instead of keeping, sometimes our male livestock can be really destructive, like a bull, right? So instead, we breed animals. Sometimes we'll breed animals artificially. Like they do that also with pets too. You get AI dog, things like that. But in the livestock industry, it's really important. It's also a way for us to get a really great genetics spread out over a lot of different animals. Okay, you have a prize bull. Well, he may only be able to mate with 30 females a year. Okay. Well, instead, if we collect him and we artificially inseminate, we can inseminate hundreds of females a year. All right, and a veterinarian. You guys have, if you have an animal, you ever take it to a vet's office, you guys understand what veterinarians are. Veterinarians are very important. It takes a lot of education. Okay, it's basically the same kind of education that a human doctor goes through, but for animals. That's why you should, whenever you take your animals to the vet, they're going to tell you important things. Food products and processing. Basically, food products, if you're into the food product side of things, we have scientists that can target genes to make your food taste certain ways, okay? How many of you guys ever heard of the cotton candy grapes? These are literally grapes, like you go through like green grapes, you eat them and they taste like cotton candy. It's pretty crazy, okay? plant breeders and food scientists have created those, right? So we can do different things with food to make it taste different. You know, we have all sorts of, how many different flavors of Gatorade is there, right? Or Cheetos or whatever. I mean, you see them all over the place, right? Takis. Is Taki still popular with all y'all? Right? There's all different flavors. Well, it takes food scientists to kind of create those. So if you're interested in that, you want to take some science classes, take an ag class you can learn about it, okay? A food stylist. What do you think a food stylist does? A human stylist, what would they do? What's a stylist? Clothes? Okay, clothes. So what people wear clothes, what's all their presentation, right? We have people, their job literally is to make food look the best it can for pictures or videos. When you see a Big Mac on TV, and you see a Big Mac from McDonald's, you go to it, do they ever look the same? No. The one on TV is all nice and pretty. If you were to actually take that bit, there's like toothpicks in there holding it together. The point is, they style food to where what it looks like in the picture or video will not look the same when you go to get it. Natural resources. How many of y'all like to be outside? Natural resources might be for you. Okay? So we do a lot of different things in agriculture that obviously most of agriculture is outside, but we also, agriculturalists were the first environmentalists because we produce in our environment. A cattle rancher, let me give you an example. A cattle rancher has deer, all sorts of wildlife on their property. Okay, so outdoors is important to us. So here's some different careers in natural resources. A conservationist, that's someone that's working with our natural resources, our wildlife, to conserve them, okay? You can get some education in your high school class, and middle school class, and it goes on, and you can take that further. Forester, that's someone who takes care of the forests, right? You see them at state parks. You go to Lake Kissimmee State Park, and you ever been to Lake Kissimmee State Park? And you'll see a forester out there. Game warden, you can get in trouble from game warden, right? Game warden helps people from poaching, right?
Is he like the agriculture police?
Yeah, basically, yeah, you go out there, you go kill an animal you're not supposed to, they can take you and put you in jail. If you trespass on someone's property, you're not supposed to be there, they can take you to jail, right? Or fines, depending on the severity of whatever. So, a lot of different things you can do in natural resources. Plants, gardening, things like that. You know, a lot of times, when I get a student at the college level, most of them think, I either want to do plants or animals. Because that's what really a lot of people think of in agriculture. There's a lot more. But plants and animals are really what people think of when they think of agriculture. But there's a lot of different areas within plant systems, okay? There's a traditional farmer. You can do that a lot of different ways. You can do that on a rooftop. You ever heard of rooftop farming? In cities, yeah, they literally put gardens on top of roofs. People are gardening there. You can do that in a community. There's some communities, you know how some communities are built around golf courses? There are communities now that are built around like a shared garden space, which is pretty neat to me. And adjusters work for insurance companies. So let's say you guys might, if you've ever been in a car accident with your parents, okay? You're gonna, say it's pretty damaged. They're gonna take that car, they're gonna take it to a lot, an adjuster's gonna go out there and say, hey, this is how much it's going to cost to repair your car. It's how much we're gonna pay, right? Well, they do the same thing with crops. Crops have insurance, okay? An adjuster goes out there and says, hey, this is how much it's gonna cost to reimburse you for these crops, okay? Golf course. You like to play golf? I would just say golf, turf grass management in general. So, I know there's turf, but there's some fields, like Lake Wales High School, right? Their football field is what? Grass. There's someone to take care of that. Right now, that's what they're doing. Golf courses, same thing. Anything that's played on a grass surface. Or a hydroponics producer. There's those things too, right? Where you actually are growing on a tower produce that's going through, and it's basically growing through the water and the supplements that are in there, rather than growing in the ground.
So my name is Brenna Durker. I am 19 years old as of Monday. So I sat in you guys' shoes. I did go to Polk County schools, public schools too. I went to Bethune Academy, if you guys know where Haines City's at. You guys know what Bethune Academy is? Okay, then I went to Daniel Jenkins. Anybody know where Daniel Jenkins is at? and then I went to Ridge, and then I went to Haines City. I grew up in Davenport, Florida. I was very blessed to live on land. I didn't get to live in a community, so I don't know anything about like community living. I grew up on 36 acres. I have a younger brother who is in FFA. He was in 4-H. He wants to be a rancher and a breeder, and he wants to do everything he wants with cows and have land and all that kind of stuff. Where me, on the other hand, I want to be an agriculture lawyer, which Mr. Sharpless didn't get to talk about. I am not the outside person. I would much rather be inside, and I'm a policy guru. So I like to watch the elections, and I like to see about the laws that are passed. I like that side of it. Have you guys ever done or heard about the Polk County Youth Fair in March? Anybody? So they have a lot of stuff for youth agriculture. It's like a county fair where you get to show off everything, and if you do a market animal, you make money off of it. So it teaches you responsibility and everything. This is my brother's cow. He had this cow since it was 200 pounds. And in this picture, it was 1,000. And that's just me and my brother in our FFA jackets. It's a very sentimental year. It was his first time in his blue and gold jacket. And when you grow up in FFA, that's a really big thing. So I started out in 4-H because I went to 2 schools who didn't have FFA in the middle school level, which you guys do have FFA. So you guys are very blessed. I didn't get to start FFA until my high school year. So before that, I still wanted to be active in the youth fair. So they have this wonderful thing called 4-H. On 4-H, I was an officer, so I've always been in a leader position where I was in charge of things. I was anywhere from a treasurer to the president. And then when I hit high school, I was like, I don't need to be in both. So I chose to do an FFA. But I have a lot of friends who are still did both, so they can benefit from the scholarships for college. Because each of these organizations do have college scholarships, which at the end of the day, it helps you take money off your college. So this is just me and my brother at the youth fair. It was his first year, little me. So then I went to FFA. I started out at Ridge Community High School, which Ridge is known for their vet program. They have a very good vet program, but I did not want to be a vet. So I transferred out of Ridge and went to Haines City. Haines City has all kinds of animals. And I was there for 3 years. So in 10th grade, I wanted to be on the officer team, but I couldn't because I came in that year. So I was on what they call the JOT, which is the junior officer team. I showed pigs, chickens, rabbits. 11th grade year, I was the historian, which is the person that does the scrapbooks and helps with the reporters, so they take a lot of pictures. So I did the marketing side to make Haines City High School's FFA look better than it already did. I showed zebus, pigs. I did floriculture, which has to do with flowers. Basically, it's identifying the flowers and creating bouquets and stuff. That has to do with floriculture. And FFA, there's a whole CDE of it. I did parliamentary procedure, which happens to do with opening and closing ceremonies. And then 12th grade year, I was a secretary. I showed zebus, pigs, and I did floriculture again. So these are this is mostly from senior year. This is my pig. His name was Law Finale. I had this pig, that's when I first got him. So when I got him, he was about 50 pounds. He is 295 pounds, he barely made weight. He was almost overweight for a youth fair. I could take a little dog treat and this pig would follow me around my whole property. This is a zebu. Here's more zebus. They're little Indonesian cows. So if you're scared of big cows like my brother shows, which I am, fun fact, these are the little cows. So my cow is no taller than my knee. This is, you guys aren't familiar with FFA, but FFA has a state. So in FFA, there's different department, there's different officers. So there's the chapter, which is your school, the federation, which is your county, the district, which is a little bigger than your county, and then we have state and national. So this girl is Emma Self. She is from Bartow High School, and she is now our state candidate. As pronounced of yesterday, she went through this whole interview process, and she's a state candidate for Florida FFA. This is Emma Lauren Poole. She was a state FFA.
Secretary.
She was a secretary. She was a secretary, and she got to travel all around the world. this is for the Zebu show. This is all of the kids from Haines City High School that went to the Zebu show. And I will tell you, probably about 30 to 40% of these kids right here in this picture all do ITV, drama, chorus, all of like the fine arts. They just do it because they like to do it and they like animals and it gives them an opportunity to cuddle with them. So now I attend Warner University. I am in the agriculture class. I chose agriculture because I grew up in it, but I knew I didn't want to be outside all the time. I do not like sweating, it's not for me. And I really wasn't for sure what I wanted to do. I had two tracks I wanted to do between education, where I like teaching, and then I also had the track of law. I have recently defined and I'm going to go to law. Because you guys are from here, I'm going to put a little plug. But Warner does have a camp, and all of my friends who are in chorus and like the fine arts, they do this 3-day camp every year, which is kind of converting them to the right side, which is the agriculture side. Because we get to go to dairy farms, we got to go to bush gardens, we get to learn about all the different ag stuff. And Warner does put it on, but it is like amazing to like see them see that that agriculture isn't just about animals and plants. There's way more to it.